Welcome back to 40 Days of Self-Love with your girl Jamie, Scorpio as fuck astrologer. And today we're going to be getting into Cancer risings and what you can expect during this retrograde, which will be taking place in your second house. Since this is my placement, I have lots of insights to share with you, and I can give my chart as like a reference and insight into what you can expect and some other contrasting examples of how everyone's chart, even with these general placements, how they can manifest in different ways. And I think this is just such an important reminder. I want to just let you guys know that with Venus retrograde or any planets, like everything, all of these things are here to support us. And particularly with retrogrades, it's an opportunity for us to reflect on the things that the planet it symbolizes. And this is so that it can ultimately support us. It slows us down. So it's not something that we have to like worry about. It's really just something that's incredibly beneficial. And astrology is just such a beautiful gift when it comes to that, because I think oftentimes, I'm sure you've experienced, I think this is something we've all felt, where we feel like uncertain and we don't feel supported, or we don't know how to move about in the world and stuff. And it's completely understandable to feel that way, but the truth is, in reality, there is so much support and guidance available through the language of astrology, and it's just such a beautiful way to get insight into what's really designed to work best for you. And this is why I love sharing these videos, and it's my intention, whether you have this placement or not, any video that you watch, you get some value out of it, even if the placements don't apply to you. So that's ultimately what my priority is. And with the theme of Venus in mind, this is very much about reflecting on what supports you and things related to Venusian themes such as your finances, your sense of self-worth, food. And particularly when this is retrograding in your second house, the traditional ruler, the traditional home that Taurus belongs in is the second house, which is ruled by Venus. So this is already like a very natural placement here. And with Venus retrograding in Leo, which is about the best, this is an area to really reflect on what's best for you. And so when you want to think about how to take advantage of this energy, what can you learn and what lessons does Leo have to teach you about Venusian matters, such as your finances, or this can be about food. This can be your relationship with your family. You can pick whatever resonates with you and go based off of that. And one thing that you can always do whenever you're looking at planets that are retrograding, you want to look at the houses that it rules based on the signs that it rules as well. But before I get into that, I forgot to mention that with Leo representing the best, if you want to look at what are the best ways for you to manage your finances, budget, what is the best way for you to magnetize and make money, things of this nature, looking at the best, whatever gives you the most confidence, whatever is going to provide you with the most success, something where you could learn something of value. These are the things that are going to best support you. Cancer risings tend to do really well making money by putting yourself in the spotlight. This is why I love going on videos. And before I became an astrologer, I was a trade show specialist, I was a product specialist, and I gave presentations, and so I was very much in the spotlight. And particularly for some of you guys, it may not be having the best Venus retrograde if you're making money in a way that's out of alignment for you. So for example, when I used to work at the library, this is very much about being behind the scenes. I was sitting there, standing, putting the books back on the shelves. This was very much not being in the spotlight. And interestingly enough, I kept having like back spasms. And this is because Leo rules the spine. And so when you're out of alignment, wherever Leo is in your chart, you might find that sometimes you have issues with your back. You might have issues with your heart. Now, of course, this is a very general analysis. If you want to get a more precise reading on medical astrology, I have done a collab with Dr. Maria Johnson, who is a medical astrologer and doctor. So you can definitely book a reading. Check her out on my website. She's absolutely phenomenal. But just as like a general rule, when you're out of alignment, sometimes the physical manifestation can be the body part that the sign rules can sort of go out of sync. So these are just different things to kind of keep an eye on. So this can also show that maybe like if you're not eating very well, this is the time to really reflect on what are some nutritional changes that you can make, because Leo is about the best. We should all have the best foods, but Cancer risings in particular do particularly well with the best quality food. Like, you have more of a sensitivity, so you want to be a little bit more resilient. Everyone is different, has different levels of tolerances and stuff, and it doesn't mean that we should be neglectful, but like certain areas, it's like the fuck around find out kind of a thing, and you can kind of push the envelope. This is not an area for Cancer risings. Like, the medical astrologer that I work with, like, she was saying, like, because of her placement, she was like, I can have lasagna in the middle of the night and my digestion is fine. We're not like that, you guys. So really be mindful about the food that you eat. Maybe this is the time where you can start making inspired recipes and do things that you really enjoy, eating seasonal foods that support you. This can also be a time to heal your relationship with your family, particularly your father. The sun represents the father. If this is something that you want to do, I have a video called Heal Your Daddy Issues, where I talk about how you can take advantage of Saturn and the Venus retrograding in Leo to really take advantage and work through these challenges. And if you want more insights on finances, I also have a video on how you can accelerate your cash flow taking advantage of Venus and Neptune retrograde. So there's a lot of ways that you could work with this energy that really go beyond just this Venus retrograde during this brief moment that it's going to be, in the grand scheme of things, just retrograding. There's a lot of support here, and it's really a matter of taking advantage of these resources. Now, Venus rules your 4th house of home and your 11th house of financial gains. This is where you have Taurus, and Libra is in your 4th house. Now, something to mention with the Libra is that we have the South Node, which is an emptying out energy that's karmic in nature here. So this is an area where you can empty out things related to Libra, things related to your 4th house. This can be emptying out your home, emptying out your professional, personal, business partnerships. For some of you guys, this may be a time where you're having a breakup, particularly if you live with someone. Maybe you're going to move out. Maybe your living situation is going to change with your romantic partner. Maybe this is just you've decided to let go of one-on-one clients and you're opening up a membership program, and you're reevaluating what are some different ways that I can make money, which is, and increase your financial gains, which is Taurus in your 11th house. This is a way that you can use this energy. For myself personally, I'm emptying out in my home. I am literally trading up my bougie luxury home, my heated pool, hot tub. Yes, you guys, I'm becoming a cliche because I live in LA, and I feel like everyone and their mama's an actor, and so many people say, I've given up my luxury life for the unknown. And I'm just like, oh, you sound like everybody else. That's now me, you guys. And this is the beauty of astrology, is that even when these things happen, I feel very supported. I still can make informed decisions because of the insights that my chart shows me. And in all the charts, natal, transit, solar arc, solar return, progress chart, like, they're all saying, like, it's fated. I am, like, literally meant to empty out my home, and this is ultimately going to be beneficial for the success of my business. Like, I am sacrificing my home environment for my sole purpose, and I feel really good about this. But it's not going to be comfortable for everyone, but just trust that when these things happen, they're happening for a reason. Okay, like, you can't, yes, we have free will, and that's very much a real thing, but there's also fated energy as well, and we can't free will ourselves out of fated experiences. And that's a good thing, because there are a lot of gifts that are offered to us that we wouldn't otherwise necessarily connect with if we can just be like, I choose free will. So learning to trust the process is, especially right now more than ever, is a great time, because Venus is about what's supporting you. So if you're finding that Venusian things are falling apart, maybe your home environment, your romance, your finances, and you're having a rough time, just trust that this is happening because it's ultimately meant to support you. And when these things happen and these things fall apart, it really forces you, it stimulates you to be like, what alternatives do I have? Like, I'm now looking at, like, where I'm gonna move. And I honestly have no idea where I'm going to end up yet, but I know that I'm going to move. I know the energy of moving. So I've started to get boxes and stuff like that. And full disclosure, to tell you the truth, like I haven't been doing financially as well as I would have liked in my astrology business. And I recognize that part of that is because the universe is like, bitch, you need to move the fuck out of where you live. And it was forcing that by creating financial challenges. And once I got to a place where I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to pack my boxes. I'm going to get ready and stuff like to move. Sure enough, clients started booking with me. So it's just sometimes these things happen because it's trying to redirect you. So look at alternatives, look at other ways that you could be supported. Don't think about it like, oh, something is falling apart, I'm losing this. Think about, okay, like what other support do you have? Where is that support? How can you shift this energy? And a lot of it is going to be with Venus being in Leo, trusting, taking action, doing the thing that's the most inspiring, even if it doesn't make sense. This is going to be the thing that really supports you. And particularly for Cancer risings, your second house is anything and everything that supports you and your physical body, where Leo is. So Leo representatives can very much be things that support you. This can be males, this can be women, but it can be anyone who is like has a masculine presence, someone who puts themselves in the spotlight, someone who's really optimistic, literally a Leo rising, sun, moon. These are people that can really support you, including like actors, for example, and I honestly have it in my mind that I'm like, I feel like I'm going to have clients that are actors and they're going to support my business at some point, because it does show up as a possibility and a way that my chart can manifest. Interestingly enough, this is also about Libra, right? Because Venus rules my fourth house of home. And interestingly enough, I reached out to a friend of mine to see if she had any resources for me. And sure enough, this woman, she is the exact same placement as me. Cancer rising, Pisces sun, Libra moon. And she literally, first time she met me, she was like, are you a Cancer rising, Pisces sun, Libra moon? And I was like, how did you know that? And we have very similar placements, and we're experiencing very different things. For her, she's pregnant and she's gotten engaged. So it's not at all this like doom and gloom of like a change. But maybe but like her family dynamic is changing, which is her fourth house. Maybe she's gonna move out and like live in a bigger home. Her with the other thing is that like we have our North Node in Aries right now, which is the 10th house. So this is a change that could happen in your public reputation, your status and stuff. So she's no longer single, she's engaged. This is a way that this is showing up for her. Whereas for me, I'm moving out of my home environment. This can also mean that with the North Node being the fastest way to achieve material wealth, this is a way for me to achieve my material wealth and through public success and putting myself in the spotlight. So there's a lot of different ways that these things can manifest. It's very unique to your chart. So if you want to get a personalized reading to identify what works best for you and exactly what's going on in your chart, how best to use this placement for yourself, go ahead and book a reading with me. But this is essentially to say that with this placement, whether things are going well or things are kind of challenging, take a look at your values when it comes to one-on-one partnerships, your business partners, your clients, how you handle finances, your home environment, the dynamic that you have with your family, how you achieve financial gains, maybe your relationship and interaction online, and how this supports your income. Whether this is something that you're doing, maybe or not, this could be an area where you can explore this area of your life. Because the second house, where where Venus is retrograding, this is about your finances, and it rules your 11th house of financial gains. Leo is about putting yourself in the spotlight, and the 11th house is about your followers. So this is very much about how can you put yourself in the spotlight, how can you position yourself so your followers can increase your financial gains. And then Libra is about professional partnership. So this is a lot more of a professional environment. It's also a lot more about family oriented stuff because Taurus rules family. The second house is about family. The fourth house is about family. So this can also be taking a look at, like, particularly if you're in business with your family, how you can make some changes and looking at how you're making, how you've made money. If you can make some shifts, this is going to be some of the best way to take advantage of this energy, really taking advantage of the North Node in your 10th house Aries, putting yourself in the spotlight, showing up as a leader. Don't overthink things, take action, trust the process, and look for different ways that you can increase your financial gains that are different than the way you've done things before. And a huge part of that is going to be to trust in and lean into spirituality, because we have Jupiter and Uranus in your 11th house, and Jupiter rules Pisces, which is in your 9th house of spirituality, where you have Saturn here, and Pisces is the dreamer sign. So right now, this is the best time to be strategic and materialize your dreams. The most practical thing you can do right now is to dream and to be responsible with it. Incorporate it into your work environment. Oftentimes people have all these dreams and visions, but they're like, oh, I can't because of life responsibilities and this and that. Right now is the best time to take advantage of that energy. And especially if you're in a spiritual industry or you're in business with like import, export, international travels, or overseas business, this is going to be something that's going to be really great for you. Jupiter also rules your 6th house of your work environment, where you have Sagittarius, which is also spirituality, which is also about foreign travels, international affairs, global marketing. So this is also an area where you can lean on it to be like, what are some, like, using these resources, how can you increase and accelerate your financial gains? Jupiter is the planet of prosperity, so this is a great time to look into that. And Sagittarius is a leader, and it takes action based on what feels good, what inspires you, by seeing things from a different perspective. So really look at what that looks like. Not only do you habitually have that placement that supports you, but with the North Node in Aries, this is all about taking action and trusting the process, and this is going to be something that ultimately really supports you. And the ruler of Aries, which is Mars, is in Virgo, which is in your 3rd house of your mindset, your collaboration, your neighbor and stuff. So if you happen to also work in your local community, if you're trying to collaborate and market and stuff, doing this in a way where you're taking action, this is going to be something that is going to be really supportive for you. There's a lot of different things here, and ultimately it's about using this energy. And I've said a lot of things, so take whatever resonates, write that down, and work through that during this Venus retrograde, and really look at how you want to use this information. And then you can also use this as a guide, because essentially we have Venus retrograding, and this is about like your values, and this is a great time to be very self-reflective about what's important to you, what supports you, what it is that you need. And then when Mercury goes into retrograde in Virgo next month, this is the time where you can start planning around these values that you created, which ultimately support you and what's best for you. Because a lot of times what happens is that we try to plan things according to the external feedback or what we think we could have, without really checking in with what is it that we truly want. Venus, things that support us in our finances, is in a self-centric sign like Leo. This is the time to reflect on what is it that you want, what is it that you need, what's important to you. Focus on the self. This is going to be one of the best things for you. So I really encourage you to take the time to reflect on these things, because this is really, it's a really good time, because you really have that emptying out energy in Libra. So this is really gonna like really have a positive impact on your life for the next 18 months. Now, depending on your personal placements, it's not necessarily going to be enjoyable for everyone. For a lot of you guys, it really might be, because Venus is a very pleasant planet. It's a benefic planet, and particularly if you have a natally good Venus, this is very promising. Now, I have to tell you, I don't have a very good Venus, and I'm still very much enjoying this process, because I take a look at what supports Venus, such as Saturn, and using that as a reference. These are things that you can do in order to really take advantage of your chart. If you want to look at ways that you can use your chart placement, look at the different planets that support you, the elements, how you can take advantage of this, the best way for you to navigate your life, and this is not your basic bitch freebie, comment below with Scorpio as fuck freebie, and I'll send you my 20+ page PDF guide, where you, after reading this, you'll have literally like specific instructions on what you can do, how you can navigate your life in a way that's going to be sustainably successful, because this is the theme. And that's actually what I want to leave you with. This is what I'm personally working on, is take the time during this Venus retrograde to reflect on what a sustainable life looks like for you. What is it that you want? What changes do you have to make in order to make that a reality? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!